Hey guys, it's A Secret with Sky Chapter 3, and I decided to show you all this picture because she put it in there and it's really cool. Yeah, as you can see, there's a bunch of creepypastas there, blah 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 blah, and here we go. After I recovered from my initial shock and was sure that it was him, I just stared at him. He was obviously playing a game. I knew I should have closed it the first chance I got, but I didn't. It could just be someone dressing up as him, but somehow I found that hard to believe. After he'd been playing for about a minute, someone sat down next to him on the velvet couch. He was taller, with brown hair and a dark blue mask on with no eye sockets, and a dark liquid dripped down from the eye holes. My eyes widened again, and I might have let out a gasp, which was fine. I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me. "What you playin'?" asked Jack, peering over Ben's shoulder. Ben sat up a little and showed him the screen. "Ah, fun, isn't it?" "Very," Ben nodded in agreement. I was almost enjoying myself when Ben's reddish eyes suddenly stared straight at me. My heart skipped a beat, and I shuffled backwards on my bedroom floor away from the laptop. Even though I knew it would do no good, I couldn't help but to feel a little better. Ben didn't take his eyes off the camera. "Is that working?" Ben asked, examining the camera closely. His face filled the screen as he looked, and I had to giggle. "What do you mean?" I heard Jack say. "I mean, I think this is recording," said Ben, sitting back in his regular position, still not taking his eyes off the camera. "Uh-oh," I thought. "I'm in big trouble." Ben started tapping away at the keyboard, his eyes focused now directly on the work in front of him. I half knew what he was doing, and I knew he was a tech genius. And since I could figure out how to hack his computer, there was no question that he knew how to track me down. I freaked out and shut the whole thing down. The picture of Ben trying to find me and Jack watching him curiously over his shoulder disappearing into black. I couldn't let him find me. He could kill me. He would definitely have no problem murdering someone for no obvious reason, and the fact that my hacking must have bothered him immensely made it much worse. I lay on my bed, hands behind my head, breathing slowly. It had occurred to me that someone might have been dressing up as Ben and Jack, but it seemed too preposterous to me, even though it was even more preposterous if I thought that it was the real deal. I just found it hard to believe. And besides, I had just found out I was telepathic and telekinetic. And I knew it would take Ben absolutely no time at all to find out who I was. 2 weeks later. "Sky," said Lena, running over to me as I entered the house. "I bought you something." "Oh, Lena, no," I said. I didn't want her to buy anything for me. She was too kind to me already. She handed me a video game, and my face brightened up. "No, Lena, you shouldn't have," I said. I loved video games, but she didn't have to buy them for me. I felt a little guilty. I couldn't give her something in return. I was so happy with the new game, until I saw what game it was. "Majora's Mask," the case read. I stumbled back a few steps, bumping into the front door, which was still open. Lena turned and shut the door behind me calmly. She turned to me and put her hand gently on my back. "Everything okay?" she asked. Yeah, but would you mind if I took it back and traded it for something else? I don't really like this game," I lied. "Sorry." "No, it's fine. Trade it if you want. Get something you like," she said, smiling. "Thanks," I said, hugging her. "Aw, if only I could do more for you, little sis." The telepathy was coming back. "No problem, hun," she said. I smiled as I read her thoughts. She didn't have to do more for me. I wanted to do more for her. She did too much. But first, I had to figure out what to do with the whole levitation and reading mind things. And, of course, what the hell I was going to do about Ben. I changed out of my clothes to the black skinny jeans with a black tank top and a translucent lime green tank top on top of it. I loved the outfit. I braided my hair into a fishtail on the side, and I left to trade the video game, and head to Merida's house afterwards. I walked into the store, the door making a tingling sound with the bell above my head. I walked over to the shopkeeper. "I would like to trade this game," I said, handing her the Majora's Mask. She studied it for a second. It was fully wrapped and new. She nodded and smiled. "Choose whatever you like, sweets," she said. I smiled back and started scanning the different games they had on sale. I looked around and picked up a new Call of Duty that I had broken. I took it back to the shopkeeper, and she nodded and smiled at me. Did she just like nodding and smiling? It was all she did. "It's all yours," she said warmly. I took the game and made my way out of the shop. Shy little girl there. I laughed as I walked out. I couldn't believe she thought that I was the shy one. All she did was smile, nod, and say a few words. Honestly. As I neared Merida's house, I was startled by the sight of a tall figure. He was dead white, no face, very tall, and was wearing a black tux. I stopped full in my tracks, but before I could get a closer look, it was gone. It was all too quick for me. to get scared. But after I had a moment to process, I knew exactly who I'd seen. Oh my god, they were out to get me. They had definitely found me. I just had to get them to understand that I didn't mean to hack into Ben's computer. I mean to hack into some random computer, and it just happened to be his. I had entered some strange numbers that day, though I saved them on a piece of paper just in case I needed them. I took a few deep breaths, then went on my way, walking a little faster this time. I had stared at the figure when it popped up, so maybe I was able to read its mind. I dug into my brain for something that he may have thought, but the only words I was left with were 3. This is she. So you actually believe you can hear what people are thinking? Meredith asked, obviously fascinated. What surprised me was that she actually believed me. I nodded. Prove it. I shrugged. Fine. Think something. She put her fingers to her chin, pretending to think deeply. I concentrated on her, and in a few seconds I heard her voice. I wonder how many bottles of wine can fill my drawer. Seriously? I asked, laughing slightly. Wow, you really can read minds. This is amazing, she said. I couldn't help but to smile at her joyful tone. Yeah. But I couldn't stop thinking about Slenderman. I felt like I was in the middle of his game now. Even though I never really found him to be scary, he's the only person I would ever want to kill. He's the one person I would never want to kill me. Sky, she asked, clicking her fingers in front of my face, causing my head to snap in her direction. What? You just spaced out there for a second, she said. Oh, sorry, I said. I get like that sometimes. I've just got a lot on my mind right now. She sat next to me on her bed, legs crossed, waiting for me to tell her everything. I was afraid if I told, though, it would just make things worse. But I couldn't help myself. I needed to tell someone. After I explained about the hacking and Ben and the new game my sister brought to me and the sight I saw outside, I expected her to be laughing, but instead she listened thoughtfully. It's okay. I know you don't believe me, I said. You don't have to pretend. Just laugh it off now. She simply shook her head. I believe you, she said. Really? Don't you think it's a bit far-fetched? Of course, she began. It's the most far-fetched thing I've ever heard, but you're telekinetic and telepathic, so what's stopping me from believing you now? I guess, I said, but I just don't know what to do. I feel they're hunting me down. But the words you heard when you read Slendy's mind beg to differ, she said. I looked at her amusingly. Slendy? Yeah, Slendy. Saying Slenderman is just too much effort. I giggled. Maybe we shouldn't say his name. Maybe it's taboo or something. She just shrugged. But I don't think he's hunting you down exactly. What do you mean? Well, since he was in the street and the last words he was thinking were, just as she, it seems more like he was making sure it was you. What are you saying? I asked, sitting suddenly up, more interested than ever about this whole thing. Sky, she said, her words nothing less than soothing. I think Ben's looking for you. And that's the end of chapter 3. If you want to, don't do this just because I ask you to. Like and subscribe, comment, whatever. Thank you.